Hey guys, this is going to be the second installment in my 100,000 subscriber special video series where we are going to be going over my Dragon Ball Legends account. Okay, so Dragon Ball Legends. Now, Dragon Ball Legends, I started playing this game back when I believe it was the first day it was available in the US. There was a way around it being region locked initially. You needed like a VPN or something, but I didn't do that. I started playing right when the game was downloadable in the US. So I think around, or maybe a little bit over 900 days at this point. By the way, this video is being recorded on November 25th, 2020. So if you're watching this in the future or at any point that is not relatively close to when I'm recording this video, just know that that is around the time I'm recording this. We are technically one day away from the reveal and stuff stream, and where they'll be announcing UI Omen, Goku, and Jiren, because it was leaked and now we all know who it is. So yeah. So here we go. I am Z level 400, which is pretty good. Pretty cool that I reached that before I was able to record this, which is a nice thing to have on there. And I assume most of you are here to see my box, so we're going to go ahead and show that off right away. Now, first things first, we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the Zenkai units that I have. So character list, I have it sorted by Zenkai to start out. Now, as you can see, I have all these characters here. These are actually all the Zenkai characters that you can obtain in the game. And I have them all at Zenkai 7, 1400%, and 14 stars. Now, to prove to you that I have them all at 1400%, we can go ahead and take a look at the soul boosting menu, and we can just sort of scroll through all these units here. You can take a look at their stats, you can take a look at the percentage that they are boosted in the soul boosting system. But yeah, these are all done, and let me tell you, it took a giant toll on my souls, both in the game and in real life, to do this grind. But I'm happy that I'm caught up now and completely done with that. So those are the Zenkai units. So we can actually go back out of there and go back to the normal box, and we'll uncheck that Zenkai real quick. The next thing I do want to quickly show off are Legends Limited units, because these are obviously the most rare and hard to obtain units in the game. These are all the Legends Limited units that are currently in the game. We have Gohan, Beerus, Namekoku, Vegito Blue, Super Vegito, we have Ella Frieza, we have Green Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, we have the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, we have Majin Vegeta, Goten, and finally we have Piccolo. Yeah, these are the star levels that I have on all my LF units. Just to quickly go through what my experience in pulling these units were, I would say Frieza was a really annoying unit to pull. I think it took me like 50,000 to pull my first one. Vegeta did not want to get pulled. Vegeta took me, I think, like 40,000 to pull my first one, and then for some reason I continued summoning for more copies, and it was not a good idea. I actually didn't pull LS Super Saiyan 3 Goku on its first banner because I just wasn't impressed by the unit, and I honestly didn't think it was worth it because Kid Buu was the other new unit on the banner, and he wasn't that great either. So I skipped his initial banner, and I think I only actually ended up pulling 2 in total since then. And the reason why he's red 2 is because I was actually just pumping all of my Legends Limited Z power into him, as well as buying him with tickets that are, you know, the Legends tickets. That's why he's actually at red 2, even though I've only pulled him like 2 or 3 times max. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of Legends Limited units. Now we'll just go through and scroll down and take a look at my box as a whole here. So yeah, recently I've been going pretty hard on these banners, and as you can see, there's a lot of 14-star units here. I don't know if I'll continue doing this. I probably won't continue doing this in terms of, you know, every single banner I do 14 stars. I think I'm probably going to cut back a little bit on how much I spend. By a little bit, I probably mean a lot. It's just, I don't know, I do enjoy collecting and the collection aspect of this game a lot. That's the reason why I do this, and same thing with Dokkan as well, right? They're both gacha games, they're both sort of semi-hero collection games, as well as, you know, just general fighting game. Well, Legends is more so of a fighting game, but yeah, this is pretty much what we're looking at in terms of my box here. We can sort by EXs or whatever you want after this, just so I can show you what else I have here. But there's Trunks, Zenkai all the way at the bottom there, just because he's not transformed. Now we're starting to get into the portion where I don't have everything 14 stars. Like the EXs, like this Cell, for instance. He's not super old, but he's not new. But he's getting up there. Units like that, just you pull a lot of them over time, you accumulate their Z power. And now we're just sort of getting into the older units. Some of the newer units I didn't bother to pull a lot of, like this Boo-Tanks. I just don't like him that much. And some also event characters as well that you can't get past certain star limits. This Android 18, for instance, has never been on like any banners, so she's not done. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at here. A lot of newer EXs like this Rosie, this Bojack, the full power Bojack, the Rosie there, that are new and just I haven't pulled a lot of them yet. But now we're getting into like the heroes, so all the heroes are done obviously. So that's pretty much what my box looks like. I would say it probably is one of the better boxes in all of Legends. I don't think I have the best account in the world. There's no way. There's probably at least one person who has everything 14 stars, including all the Legends Limited units. Would not be surprised at all if that was the case. So by no means do I think I have the best Legends box in the world. But I do think it's probably within the top 1 to 0.1% of best boxes, I would say. Just because of how much I put into this time-wise and resource-wise other ways too. So that is pretty much my entire box looked at from a bird's eye view. We can also just sort by extreme if you guys want to have a better view of what my extreme box looks like specifically. We can scroll through this here as well. But yeah, I mean, in terms of my units, this is what we're looking at. And if you guys wonder, oh, what does this box look like? Well, here you go. Finally, you get to see it. So I know you guys are waiting for this. And I did want to make this a special video, but that is going to be basically my full box here. Next, let's take a look at some other stuff that I have going on with my account. All right, the next thing we can sort of take a look at here are some of the exchange shop currencies and stuff that you can buy with these currencies you accumulate over time. Number one, dual coins. I mean, there's not really much to look at there. You spend those as you get those, and the cap is 5,000, so you can't really just hoard them. Rare metals I've used a lot just to pick up some extra souls. Mostly it was for Zenkai Awakening because it takes a ridiculous amount of resources to Zenkai Awaken a character. Maybe it was Z metals. I actually do spend these Z metals relatively frequently in terms of getting Zenkai souls. Recently has been something I've been spending these on, as well as equipment, which I used to spend a lot of. I used to spend basically all my Z metals on equipment. But at this point, I don't really need much more equipment from here, so I stopped spending all my Z metals on the equipments, and I sort of shifted over to spending all of them on Zenkai souls, because other than that, there's not really much else to buy from here, other than the adventure slot keys, but I'm almost always capped on those anyway, so. Z metals, yeah, those are those. I do try and spend those when I can. Rush metals I spend when I can as well. Equipment metals, I did actually at one point have like 30,000 equipment metals just from playing the Golden Showdown. I think it was the first Golden Showdown season. I played that like all day, almost all day, every day, and I got like 30,000 equipment metals, and a lot of the equipment that I have in my box I got from the equipment metals. So we'll take a look at my equipment later, but those are the equipment metals. Then we have platinum coins. Obviously you spend those when you get those. Legends tickets, I do tend to get capped fairly frequently with Legends tickets. You can only hold up to 3,000 at once. The reason why I haven't spent these 2,900 that I have right now is because I am waiting for them to add Ella Frieza so that I could buy more copies of Ella Frieza, but they haven't really updated this in a while. It takes them, for some reason, forever to update this section here, so I haven't spent these. I'm going to probably hold on to these until UI Goku comes out, because once he comes out, I will undoubtedly get capped again, but I'm praying that they add Ella Frieza to the shop so that I could spend the tickets on him and not to spend them on somebody like LL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which is a character I've been spending a ton of these on because, again, I only pulled like 2 or 3 of them ever, and he's at Red 2 now because I spent all my tickets on him. So, yeah. Next, we can take a look at sort of the status that I have here for my account. Take a look at some of the stats that I've accumulated over the course of me playing the game. So in total, my title bonus is 23,410. We can take a look at the titles that I've accumulated. I'm just going to scroll through this real quick just because we don't have to look at all these. You can pause it if you see something that you want to take a look at further, but I have a lot of PvP titles in here. I've played PvP every single season. I haven't gotten Top Cut every season. There's been like there were a few seasons where I just didn't care to play, and I just like didn't play at all. I remember one season I didn't even get top 10k because I just didn't play at all. So but I'd say for most of the seasons I was able to get Top Cut here. But yeah, these are all the titles that I have. Most of them are farmed from events in the game, like, you know, I don't know, farm like 1,000,000 points or whatever it is. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have here in terms of titles. And then we can go further down here in my stats. I do also, every day I pick the energy because I need it. All the farming you have to do in this game with skip and energy tickets, no longer energy tickets, now it's the energy bank. But I think energy is the most valuable thing you could get from those. So yeah, 910 days logged in. I have every single character in the game, which currently at this point is 325. PvP, I have basically 15,000 wins in PvP, which is a lot. And my highest rating points achieved 29,359, which I assume was obtained during the 3x RP season. So, and there are my praise points down there. And in terms of the story events clear, we can actually go ahead and take a look at the missions that I have done. I am slacking a little bit on the story stuff because I don't know. I typically log into this game to play PvP most of the time, to do showcases and stuff like that. So I don't really play the story that often. So if you take a look at the missions that I have under the Z missions, yeah, I actually just got this one logged in for 910 days. We'll go ahead and accept that. There are a lot of these, like clear Part 8, Book 1, you know, those sorts of missions that are, I guess, attached to the story mode in this game that I haven't done just because I haven't really set foot in that mode too often. There we go. Unlock. Yeah, so right now, this is, by the way, the most boost panels you can possibly unlock in the game, because I've unlocked every boost panel in the game. 147,012 is the most you can unlock in the game. That's what I have right now. In terms of upgrading equipment, I've upgraded 20,316 pieces of equipment to rank A or higher. I currently have 261 equipments that are Z or Z+. And I've reached friendship level 10 with 34 characters. And then all this other stuff we'll just go through really quick. Yeah, the rest of this is just story stuff like I was talking about. I don't really touch this mode too often. I probably should do it, because honestly the story mode in this game is pretty good. The story is pretty enjoyable, but in terms of like the hard mode stuff, I haven't really touched that in a while. But next, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the equips that I've amassed over my time playing this game, and it's a lot. So here we are on the equipment screen. As you can see, I have 430 total equipment slots here. Of those 430 slots, I do actually use 410. Now, obviously, not all those equipments I need or I use on a daily basis. There's probably a decent amount that I could probably just delete or sell because I don't need them anymore. But I do end up spending around 500 to 600 crystals per day re-rolling equipment, just because at this point, you know, I'm one of the people that cares about Z rank equipment, whereas it's not really super important at this point of the game. But it's just become such a habit for me to re-roll these every day that I just do it, and I enjoy it, but I don't recommend doing it. It's just not really worth it. But I'm going to go ahead and filter by Z and Z+, just so that you guys can see pretty much what I have in my arsenal here. So we'll go through this. I do actually have all the friendship equipments at Z+ as well, all 18 that you need. So down here, I have 17. We'll just scroll through this really quick. 17 are here, and then we have one all the way up here on the right here. But yeah, we'll start scrolling through these slowly. You guys can take a look and pause at whatever you want to look at. I'm not really going to go into detail about any specific ones of these equipments, but there are some equipment, by the way, that I've been re-rolling pretty much since the equipment re-rolling system was implemented into the game a year ago. Because I believe that system was implemented, I think it was during the massive update last year, which was pretty much exactly a year ago from now. So yeah, I remember specifically there was a second form cell. Maybe it wasn't a full year, but whenever that equipment came out, maybe there was a second form cell equip that has a double slot gold for me. I have literally been re-rolling that equipment for an entire year. It's refused to become a Z+, or a Z. So yeah, this is pretty much all we have in terms of the Z's. Obviously there's a lot here. This is basically my arsenal that I've been building up since I started playing this game. And the thing about equipment that I find interesting or intriguing about equipment is that you replace characters on your teams all the time, right? Your characters on your teams get replaced all the time. Like, we could take a look at some teams that I've built over here in a second. Let's just say, for instance, this regen team, right? So regen obviously has, like, Omega Shenron is a really good regen unit. Eventually, you're going to replace Omega Shenron with a better red unit on this team. But guess what? The equipment that you use on this team, you're probably going to use those on the new unit too. So a lot of the times, these units get power crept, but equipment doesn't really get power crept as often. So I feel like there's a lot of value in upgrading your equipment to be as best as it could be, but at the same time, it's not really going to make too big of a difference there. But that was all the equipment that I have. We're going to go ahead and do one last look at pretty much my items that I have accumulated here, and then we'll go ahead and call it a video. In terms of the souls, I don't really have as many souls as I would like to have right now, but a lot of that is due to just, I believe, last week we got 4 Zenkais that I needed to do. We got the 2 new ones, the blue Goku and the green Broly were the 2 new ones. And then they brought back the green Majin Buu and the purple Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who I didn't have done. So I had to do all 4 of those last week. So I'm running low on some souls, but for the most part, I'm looking decent here. And then Super Souls, I actually did farm up a ton of these. during the weekend events. Every single weekend I farm a ton of these Super Souls. So actually the area where I'm lacking the most on right now is Zenkai Souls, which are not terrible to farm once the raids come around, because you get those adventures. You can just spam those adventures, just run the raid over and over and over again. But yeah, I do need to focus on getting more of these, because I did spend all of my rush medals getting Zenkai Souls too. So yeah, whenever the next Zenkai comes out, I'm gonna have to focus on farming those Zenkai Souls as well. Training items, never gonna end up running out of these. Just training in this game is not really super involved. It's very inconsequential, but I'm never gonna run out of these probably. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we could take a look at the overall metal and exchange item list here. You guys can take a look at what I have. Energy tickets, obviously nothing, because I converted it all to energy tank stuff. And then fragments, these are just for the Ultra Space Time Rush Equipment Awakening, which I hardly have done. It's just a waste of time in my opinion. So that is pretty much going to wrap things up here with my account overall. You guys can let me know down below what you think of it. How does your stats stack up to my stats in terms of PvP fights played, highest RP you've gotten, stuff like that? How many days have you logged in? But yeah, I mean, this is, I would say, easily one of the best accounts in the world for Legends. Probably not the best. I'd be very surprised if it was the best. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good account. So that is going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll be back tomorrow with another installment in the 100,000 subscriber special series. Hope to see you guys then, and hope you guys enjoyed. See you all in the next one.